Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts, where we are watching one of the more one-sided series that I've really had on the channel, to be honest. We're in the Korea-China Invitational League, and right now MIHU is absolutely dominating Saber. It is 7-0 in this 9-game series. Not something I ever really expected to see. You know, again, Saber is an ex-pro gamer with Hwasong Oz. That's the same team Oz that you remember from the old days. So many great players on that team, and the fact that he's being just dismantled by a MIHU who can't seem to do anything wrong. Like, MIHU has used a pretty wide range of strategies. I think that last one may be the wildest that we've seen, like the very weird looking mechs, which you never see something like that. Like, you lose all tempo in that type of position, but MIHU just going for it, I guess. I don't know, man. Not something that I expected. And certainly, certainly not Saber as well. Well, we're getting to the tail end of this, and Saber has got to pick up a map, man. We're on Vermeer. Once again, this was also the map used on Game 2. You know, Vermeer is probably the best map that we've ever had at this point. So hopefully he can show something here. And, yeah, while we wait for this to get going, thank you guys for checking out ArtosisCasts. Appreciate you very much. Love reading the comments and everything. Hope you guys like the little side bits that I give in occasionally. If you do have any interesting questions, let me know, and maybe I can fill some of the early game with that occasionally, like I did talking about the tiers previously. So anyways, MIHU going to go ahead and scout to the north, and this is going to be a very nice scout. From Saber. He's going to be able to go right over and find MIHU right away, and, I mean, maybe he'll harass a little bit the drone. I don't think so. I think he'll probably just turn around after he checks to see if there's gas. That is one thing about MIHU, is he hasn't done gas openers before Command Center. Like, he really does like to open just with the barracks, which you can't really blame him. That's, like, the most solid way to do it. Look at this. Blocks the drone exactly on the ramp. These reverse ramps, if you put your SCV there, it's pretty easy. You can block, or any worker can block other workers from coming up. So, nice positioning there. Marine going to come down and chase that drone away. Saber's mostly gotten the info he needs. It looks like he wants to poke in again just to double check. Yeah, and he sees the command center. He doesn't want to be fooled, because if you do something like this and you bring your first Marine down and the drone just goes home, but you actually had a gas, right? Like, obviously that takes a little bit of planning, that you want to make it look like you're getting command center, but if they don't check, the first vulture will kill them. If you don't have that sunken colony up in time, one vulture will come across the map and deal so much damage, the game will basically be unrecoverable. So definitely something you need to check is, do they get this started before 3 minutes? And yeah, he does. And he gets that check off. So second barracks coming up. You already going up to 4 Marines. Kind of interesting. And in fact, he starts a 5th Marine. Where's that? I mean, he's going to start an academy here with no extra barracks. Like, that's kind of, I don't know. You don't see that very often, this much Marine production. Because notice how he is hitting a supply block here. So he's basically, well, no, I guess the command center was a little bit quicker than normal. So maybe it's not that bad. Really interesting to watch MIHU bend his builds around a little bit, because again, the flow, the way he plays, is different from the Korean Terrans. This is one of the reasons why he is such an exciting player to watch, because he does have like a very, very high level, but plays it very differently as well. Shows that there's still so much undiscovered within StarCraft. There's so many different ways you can express yourself through the game. It truly one of the beautiful things. There's a lot of science in StarCraft, but maybe there's even more art. Right? There's so much nuance. There's so many ways, like I mentioned, to express yourself. Everyone plays differently. Everyone has their own fingerprint, and you can really tell that. The more that you watch, the more you're like, yeah, no, this is how he likes to play. And there's not necessarily much wrong. Like, there's definitely fundamentals and principles and stuff that you can, like, apply and look like, is this theoretically good or bad? But at the end of the day, it is about who wins. Right? And some things are going to have higher win percentages, lower win percentages, but, it's up to the player to try to make these things work and happen. Double sunken go down, or, well, double creep colony for now, because the little marine move out did begin. And so, yeah, this is very, very standard what we're looking at, right? You move out with the Academy Rush timing, and your opponent has to instantly make a couple creep colonies. Like, you have to have double creep colony, or you just die to a move like this. The Lings try for a counterattack, but the good SCV drill does protect MIHU. Stims and turns around. He knows that the Lings are back on their way, and he's forced to double sunken. That's as good as you can do. This is all really mapped out at this point. Like, when the Academy Rushes first started, we saw a lot of Zergs dying to these pushes. But nowadays, it's like everyone knows, don't get one sunken, you get two. And if the two are up before the Marines get there, you're basically good. And the mutas always hatch right around 5:45, right? So there's this very, very sharp window where your medics finish around 5 minutes, and you have, you know, about 40 seconds to get over there and see if you can do an attack. So he's not going to be able to do it, but once again, a very fast factory coming up. Pre-6-minute factory off of just 2 barracks. Seems like MIHU is really liking this type of opener right now. Only 1 turret here. He's got to be careful about that. Does stim down in a kind of diagonal direction to try to catch the mutas if they decide to dive in. And now he is going to build that additional turret. If mutas get into an area like this, when your comsat is on the right side and makes a very thin hole with the minerals, you can lose the game from that. So that was actually a scary moment. Sorry my intonation didn't go up a little bit, but it was like I had to kind of explain why he was stimming in this diagonal direction, because it's like, oh god, things can go wrong very quickly there, especially if they have 7+ mutas. So comes up once again, that kind of fringe turret from MIHU going to be killed off very, very quickly. He is making another one here, a little bit of repair going on, but already a little bit of rotation going on from Saber. Back at Saber's base, it's just mutalist production. It's just the +1 attack for those mutas. He has the 3 gases, some drones, probably just drones from this hatchery for a little bit to get this a bit saturated. But yeah, after that, maybe into even more mutalisks as well. Like, it seems like he wants to get pretty aggressive with them this game. And it's this is kind of funny. Are we going to see an armory, I wonder? He's got the Sankey gas, so it looks like it's going to be a starport again, or a science facility again. And there's not that many Marines. Like, if you go for 2 barracks into attack, if you lose this group of Marines, you generally lose the game because you just can't refill it. Like, it takes so long to refill this many Marines. If you're on 4 racks, you lose this many, you're like, okay, I can remake an army that's actually at some sort of critical mass. Here, this is like just barely at the first critical mass, so if Zerg eliminates that, yeah, you're in terrible, terrible shape. Right, more barracks being made. He does retreat, and only a single starport. So this is like a single vessel rush. That's interesting. That is... Dude, I tell you, seriously, MIHU has more different things that he will do than just about any Terran. It's not very common. A lot of times you'll make heavier Marines and then get into double port science vessel. Here he's starting with 1 port and he's adding the 2nd port. So, I mean, it's consistent. He's going up. He'll have 1 vessel and then he'll jump up in increments of 2 as opposed to start with 2 and jump up in increments of 2. So yeah, that first vessel going to be really important to nail and irradiate. Adding those additional barracks on now for that macro. Losing a few medics that we hear. So some good reduction in the army size here by Saber. Definitely utilizing his mutas a bit better than we've seen in other games in this series. Up at the top left, getting the Evolution Chamber, Queen's Nest, and Hydralisk Den. Definitely wants to get that hive going, start upgrading for his lurkers and future Ultralisks. I mean, there's a possibility he goes into the lurker Hydra Defiler. I don't think so, though. Now, look at this. This was a very good moment for Saber. Saber might finally end up winning a game here. Like, this game so far is... It's looking good. I don't feel like MIHU has really done anything, and we just heard a vessel die as well. Like, losing your first vessel, like, his build looked like it was tuned around getting that vessel extremely quickly. And so the fact that that died right away and he lost a lot of bio, I think if from here you do a strong tech switch, you're in very, very good shape. Utilize your mutas a little bit more, right? Do what you can with them. but pull them back for anti-drop before you lose them all. Definitely don't want to lose them all here. Mew comes up, defends that floating factory. Ooh, he utilizes the egg. That'll just bounce the glaive. So he's getting a few glaive kills there. Very cute moves. Now double vessel comes out. 2-1 is on the way here for Mihu. Oh, no! Little bit of a misclick there. Takes a lot of damage on those Mutalisks. More vessels coming out. Mihu applying pressure onto the map. That Defiler Mound just now finishing. Double stack lurker is soon to be triple stack lurker. I don't like this is going to take a while to clear. You can irradiate and then irradiate again and break it, but by then he can get more lurkers as well. So he does the single irradiate. Mihu pulling back. Double lurker going to go on top of this ramp. So yeah, it seems like Saber is actually like this might be, other than the lurker all in, which I think he did have potential to win like very early in the game. Like basically once the Defilers were out, you know, on that butter game. Other than that, I feel like this is probably the best position we've seen him in so far. Now that he's finally warming up, maybe Mihu is not, you know, maybe he's laxing a little bit because he's already up so much. Maybe some disrespect. I don't know. I don't want to jump too far down their psyches or anything. I'm just saying this is looking like a really reasonable position for Saber to play from. He's going to have Consume finishing up here. The first Defiler's just about to pop. It's not that Mihu is in a bad spot. He's got a lot of vessels and he's got a lot of bio. And he's taking his third base. So everything seems to be on time and looking good. Adding some more barracks as well. Probably realistically should kill these missile turrets so he has more room for macro. But yeah. We'll see where he goes from here. Carapace upgrade. More Zerglings coming out for Defiler food mostly. He does have that macro hatchery, which is incredibly important. Definitely has been something more common in the last few years. Getting your macro hatcheries up before your fourth hatchery. Or fourth base, rather. Yeah, Ultra's Cavern being made as well. Some good anti-drop. That's what you're seeing over here, right? The spread of Scourge, some Mutalisks, a few Lurkers kind of ready to run over and burrow under any unloading dropships. An important thing, too, because Mihu has really utilized a lot of dropships this game. And irradiate on the Overlord. Okay, so what probably happened there is the Overlord was over the Lurkers. So maybe he irradiated it so he could actually irradiate the Lurkers afterwards. That is something you see occasionally. Very annoying to deal with. That little group of bio that came up to try to deny the fourth base location gets dealt with. But, you know, Mihu is not, like, strongly ahead or anything here. But this is a very normal position. A lot of the games we've looked at, by this point in the game, Mihu had a big advantage. But this is more normal, right? Like, he's rotating back and forth with Science Vessels and Marines. He's rallying up more units, just kind of keeping the containment going. So, yeah, this is, like, what you see in an even match TVZ a lot of the time. It's like, yeah, the Terran is up a fair amount in supply. Yeah, see, Mihu leaves a little group to make sure that moves like that don't happen, where the Defiler runs out and just plagues. And just rotating around, right? Clear Overlords, hit irradiates where you can, so on and so forth. Very defensive anti-drop play here from Saber. Like, look, he has no Lurkers on that low ground. That actually makes me nervous. If Mihu grabbed all his units suddenly and attacked in, he would kill all the static D minimum. Probably get some drones. Probably make a gross position for Saber. So Saber's like sitting way far back. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Gets a vessel. Oh, doesn't quite get a second one. So good pullback there from Mihu. Oh, he's going for a second. He gets a second one. Damages a third and pushes out of his natural a little bit. We do hear a lot of bio death there. All right. Well, not bad there from Saber. His supply continues to go up. This is a pretty reasonable amount of Zerg supply, right? Like, you're definitely in the game right now. This is probably one of the matchups where you see a big differential in supply where the Zerg is still okay. I guess PvT is sometimes like that too, right? Sometimes a 60 supply lead for Protoss, but it's actually an even game. Same thing can happen in this matchup as well. And I guess, yeah, maybe ZVP also, where Protoss is up in supply, but like Zerg might still be all right there. Zerg supply definitely worth a bit more, would be a big part of the reason why. A little bit of a counter. I love the mass bunker play here from MIHU, a very common thing to see from him. He loves to put down a lot of bunkers. Bringing up quite a bit of bio here and catching all those Scourge. Very nice. Now, it is 4 gases. This is the best, again, the best that we've really seen from our Zerg player. MIHU attacks in, and there is going to be a Darkstorm here. Nice Plague as well. Maybe another. Yeah, Darkstorm goes down. Going to push everything back. Doesn't really have Static D or Lurkers here, so this can get messy. Like, look, he let all the Zerglings out, so there is the opportunity here for another attack. Link's coming up with a little bit of a flank. MIHU, though, not really paying attention up there. Instead, doing another counterattack here. The Nidus is in the front, so very snipeable. That is a great target to focus fire down. Now, out comes another Defiler. He does throw it on Darkstorm, but again, it's only Zerglings. He's spending all of his gas on Ultras right now, which this can be a double-edged sword. If you have no Lurkers left, you can see these little moves from MIHU are doing a lot more, and they're harder to hold without those Lurkers. But it's less irradiate targets in a way and allows more Ultras to be made more quickly. So it seems like what he wants to do is get on the map with Ling Ultra Defiler, which is the quickest way to knock down bases. You know, already the Ultras are a little bit hard to deal with once they get into big numbers with good upgrades. But if you throw that Darkstorm down, obviously there's nothing that can really be done against that. Even an Irradiate doesn't kill an Ultralisk. So throws that down, and well, this is very small. Obviously, it's like 1 Ultra that he's moving across the map with. But he's pushed MIHU back pretty well. If you look at it, MIHU is only in his sector of the map, right? His 4-base area. And that is giving a bit of map control now to our Zerg player. Saber coming across with some more Ultras. Gonna try to just clean things. The upgrades are even right now. +2 attack versus +4 carapace is what is considered even in Ultra versus Marines. It's when one side gets an additional carapace or attack upgrade over, like +3 against +4, or +5 against +2. That's where you start to see like really one-sided fights with Ultras. So Ultra's going to run in towards this additional expansion. He does have the Dark Swarms ready. Throws a Dark Swarm. Ooh, going to be able to eliminate those tanks very easily. Needs another one down here, though. Where is our additional Dark Swarm? He could knock out this base. It's like there is a little bit of micro going up here, so maybe missing that for a moment. It looks like he decided to go Plague instead. I disagree with that. I think if he throws a Darkstorm down in this general area, he can actually stop mining here. And I think that's potentially much, much better than just a single Plague going off. Anyways, does come in with a secondary attack. He's going to be able to knock down this bunker. Goes under that Darkstorm once again. Battle Cruisers now joining the fray. He's going to go ahead and target down the Defiler. He does get the Darkstorm up just as it's dying there. And it seems like this expansion will be kept alive. Now, the 5th base has been made. It looks like MIHU's making a beeline for it right now. He does not want to let a 5th gas up. That is where it's really going to get out of control. 4 gas is hard enough to defend. But at 5, you really get whatever you want. Now, some D-Matrixes go down. Very, very efficient. No Defilers anywhere to be seen to combat this. So he is going to end up losing this base. By the way, it is 3 Starport BC at this point from MIHU. So very, very well done there. It's interesting to see him add in those defensive siege tanks as well. And, yeah, cleans up that 5th base location. The supply back down into the 1-teens. Right? So we were talking about that a little bit earlier where it was fine against what he was against. But now MIHU is kind of, he's like really secured on 4 base. He's got a bit of map control. His vessel count not as high as it used to be, but that's because he's buying a lot of battle cruisers at this point, which are going to be very annoying to deal with as well. Definitely going to want to see some spores popping up. Oh god, the mutas fly right over the bio army and he loses all of them, unfortunately. Muta's very important to combo with the Scourge when attacking battle cruisers. Unfortunately, that's not going to work out this time. Attacks into these bunkers. The main thing here is MIHU is not letting Defilers in with the Ultraling. Ultraling is a lot faster than Defilers, So that caps the speed with which Zerg can really get into these bases with the Dark Swarm. And if you don't have like a big army coming up to flank, the bunkers are going to do a good job. But obviously, if you get a Dark Swarm down, the expansion gets shut down. Unfortunately, Saber just hasn't been able to shut down an expansion. So that is an issue that we see him continue to have a bit of a problem with. Now, he pulls out of spore range with these battle cruisers, fighting the Mutalisks now. Finds an additional base here. Oh, man, he's going to be able to kill that off as well. So he is keeping on 4 base at least. Staying pretty maxed out. You can see frantically building Marines when he can. Got to keep that supply up. And that's going to be it. Unfortunately, 8-0 for MIHU. Only 1 game remains in the series.